Welcome to the next episode of the Gentleman Style Show. I'm Baldwin.
And I'm Creech. Today we've got a great guest in the house on the Gentleman Style Show. He's a designer. He's a forward thinker, because I've seen some of his fashions. It's off the chain.
Off the chain. So without further ado, we'd like to welcome our next guest, Miguel Wilson.
Thank you for showing us.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. So, Miguel,
yes, sir.
The way I generally like to jump into my line of questioning for our guests, I always like to find out where you're from and if you're indigenous to the area and if there's any other background information that we need to know as far as from a geographical standpoint.
Right. Well, I grew up in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And my dad is Dominican, so his side of the family comes from the Dominican Republic. My mother's side from Southeast Washington, D.C.
All right.
Yeah, so that's and you know, a lot of people have family in the South. I live in Atlanta now, but my family, everyone's from D.C. or Dominican Republic. Nothing in between.
And I would have never guessed that. But go ahead.
I wouldn't have guessed that either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that either. But now you live here. This is your
I live between
base.
here and D.C. Actually,
Okay.
I have a showroom
store.
there. I have a store there, and
Okay.
so I frequent between both cities mostly, and Miami. So the three.
Do you have a third store?
I have a showroom in Miami.
Okay, I saw
And
something.
so
I'm
I'm there once a month.
Okay.
Been doing that for 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're getting close to putting your roots in the ground there, just being there as a staple.
You know, when I started over again and I had to make some decisions about, where I wanted to be and how I wanted to operate, I decided I wanted to build my businesses in places that I love going.
Okay.
So I love Atlanta, I love DC, and I love Miami. So those three markets, good markets for my business, but also cities that I enjoy frequenting. It's nothing worse than having to get on a plane going somewhere you hate.
Right.
So I'm always excited about wherever it is I'm going, including coming to Atlanta.
That's a very good point. I never thought about it in that way before, especially from an entrepreneur side.
Yes.
Put wherever your business is going to be.
Right.
Make sure I want to be there too at some point, because at some point in time you're going to have to go and spend some time there, maybe for an extended period of time.
Right.
So it's great. Okay, that's great wherever they're doing.
Right, where the business is, But as an entrepreneur and you running your own business, your psychological emotions, how you feel about places you go matters. Okay, the energy for me matters. So even in Atlanta, I've had stores in Atlanta that I never felt great in. Even though it's the right city, it just wasn't the right area, right location, right people. All these things matter in terms of the your success, because you have to feel like a winner. So it really ties into the energy and excitement you have about your business. For me, I'm always excited about coming back to Atlanta, coming to my store, because I love the location, I love the environment we create. You get to build and create what you love. So why create and build something that you feel excited about?
Right.
I'm gonna do stuff that I know feeds my emotion, that feeds my energy, and that applies to the people I have around too. So having people that when I see them, it's excitement. I'm so happy to see you, and so and I know this because I've had the opposite.
Right.
Okay, and I knew how detrimental that was to my excitement about going to work. A lot of people have to get up and go to work to a place they don't love, right?
Right.
And if you're an entrepreneur, you have a choice. We choose this life, and we choose to build something. So you have the opportunity to build and create something that you can feel great about, happy about, excited about. You know what I mean? So you have also the option to change what you don't.
Right.
So that to me, you know, starting over, having failed and having had situations that I wasn't happy about, I chose to choose this as a priority over even, you know, maybe that location may make more money because of traffic or because of other things. I know that when I'm at home and I gotta get out of bed and go to work, that place won't get me excited.
I got a question for you. When we were here earlier and we were talking to one of your guys here, and they said that you were walking over. You live in the area?
I live 2 miles away.
So you walked all the way here?
Yeah, I walk to work a lot.
Wow.
You know,
I think it's a great thing. But go.
I know it's a great thing 'cause I do it. You know, I think that I don't like having the chains of society, the thought process. I don't have a car, so I operate in an environment and create. We have an opportunity to create our lives, right?
Yeah.
So I create a situation where I don't need a car, and I like not
That's outstanding.
having. You know, you all been in New York, right?
Yeah.
And it's something magical about walking down the street in New York.
It is.
You know what I mean? You don't have to be going nowhere.
You never need a car. Yeah.
You don't have to be going anywhere. It's like, okay, I'm in New York City, the energy, it's just a sight. And so I literally have that feeling when I walk to work here. Like I'm in New York, and most people don't feel that here in Atlanta because they don't walk, they
Right.
drive, or catch type of transportation. But it's kind of like I have that excitement of going to work, walking. I have time to meditate, think, pray.
I was going to
all
ask
these
you,
things
I
at
was
a time
gonna
that
ask
you
you-
generally don't have time to do per
Right.
se. All the time we don't make times for it, but I can do it in conjunction with, getting work.
Right. Right.
Let's take you back just a little bit. How did you get into fashion? Where was it? I know you were in the Army at one point, so that's a different, life altogether. So how did the fashion come about? Did that come from some part of being in the Army, going different places, or?
Well, my dad was back there, and my grandfather were always immaculate dressers,
Okay.
and they both think they dress better than me to this day. But they, just love clothes, and that is obviously genetic because, that passion is rubbed over on me. So I love clothes, and the thing is, I never had any training in fashion. Didn't go to school for fashion. It was something I just enjoyed dressing. I enjoyed wearing clothes,
Right.
and so that's where the energy came from. Never thought this would be my life. Never thought that I would be a fashion designer. And, but as God would have it, I was able to recognize a gift I had and first design clothes for myself. And people say, oh, I like that, and then tapping into my friends and my, colleagues, people I knew. I did clothing on the side for many years while I worked my corporate jobs. And just at one point, I took the leap of faith and decided I wanted to just do this full time because, I had great jobs, but they didn't provide for me the happiness of
Right.
doing this.
Right.
Yeah, so, and that was a big jump though, from going from a job to a.
Let me ask you this, and this is something in the I don't want to say the fashion world, but per se, I want to say from like a skilled type of world. Because you know how to construct a suit from the ground up.
I am not a tailor. I cannot sew.
Okay.
I don't have any training in construction or a lot of the things that people learn in fashion school or fashion merchandising or fashion design. I have people who have graduated from these programs to come work for me.
Right.
Okay, and it's then I realize really how my gift, how significant my gift is, because when you have people with these types of trainings look at you and say, wow, okay, they've been through, they've seen things, they understand things. To be validated by people who have done and been places, seen things, and operated in, from an educational standpoint, I think it validates to some degree, you know, that there's truly gift. I mean, the ultimate validation is at the register.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The ultimate validation. The ultimate validation. The fact that there's. I had a guy today. You all were in here, and a client came in here. He came up from Dothan, Alabama.
Oh, okay. He drove
about 5 hours. His wife sent him here for a special occasion he had coming up for him to buy a suit for me. And this is common. People get on airplanes, travel the country and travel the world to come for me to dress them. That to me is the highest form of validation.
Absolutely.
Because you have to walk past and fly past and drive past so many other options. And for you to come to me humbles me, but also inspires me to really do a great job and do the best I can for these people, because, you know, they make sacrifices to do business with me. I mean, even in this mall, you know, we're in Phipps Plaza, and you have to walk past Saks,
yes,
Nordstrom's,
right,
Hugo Boss, Versace, Gucci, you know, all these stores, mind you, all down the first floor. You got to come upstairs,
right,
past them,
right,
upstairs to
right,
see me. And understand this, you know, I'm not inexpensive, so it's not like they couldn't afford those other options.
right.
So I take that at heart, and I tell my guys here all the time, we have to be superior at our service.
That leads me into this question. I saw you met Snoop Dogg the other day.
I did.
How important is it out there for you to be acknowledged in the world, as far as from the entertainment or the entertainers that you dress? I mean, for your name to be said, how important is that?
Well, you know, for the public, that's validation. Okay, when they see their stars or people they look up to, you know, validating you, wearing your clothes or whatever, you know, that's good to makes them look at you differently.
Right.
Okay, so if you were walking down the street and nobody's paying you attention, okay, but you're sitting in the airport, but Magic Johnson walks over and says, "Hey man, you know," and then all of a sudden everyone knows, well, who is he? Right. So it's like, you know, all of a sudden, okay, you got it, man.
You gotta be
now all the women want to know, man, I want to meet this guy, you know.
Right.
So 5 minutes ago, you weren't paying me any mind.
Right.
So guess what happened? That's definitely in the fashion world, to where, you know, so they can play a part. But I will say this too, though, because I think there's a misconception about celebrities and the value they bring. Yes, they can validate you and bring you some validation, and you can get a bump in your business. But there's no one celebrity that I've found that changes the course of your business to make it so big that they made you. You know what I mean? Maybe some people have had that. I just haven't seen that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, you know, you need to have consecutive wins. Okay, to be successful in business, and it's way beyond just a celebrity endorsing you or saying something. And a lot of times, I tell you, most of them don't. I haven't seen them really just become a what I would call an advocate for the brand. They wear it, you know, and a lot of times, I rarely get a mention from celebrities that wear my clothes. I'm the one that has to promote. Oh yeah, by the way,
right,
he had my clothes on.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So,
how about the thought of this? When it comes to men, and I found this over the years, I think our thought about fashion and clothes, kind of, it's on that level of, some people may pique their interest, but for a man, I guess the normal guy, they don't tend to jump on the clothing line or the thought, let me dress well. it's more of a functional thing for them. Even if you're in corporate America, it's functional. Let me wear a suit, let me look good. Do you find that a lot in your business when people come in that they're, oblivious to real fashion?
Most of our clients, we specialize in wedding attire for men. Although my business was built around making beautiful suits and sport coats, as we still do today. So operating in a space where a lot of our clients are, 30s, younger guys, I'd say average 28 to 40. Many don't have a suit. Many
we've seen that
don't dress.
Right.
So generally speaking, they do their research, or their fiance has say, hey, this guy I think you should use for your clothes. They don't know, and we are the experts. They come to us for guidance. Now, if you take the typical man who is not getting married, most men operate in a box, okay? And I hate to pull you guys into this, but blue suit, gray suit, right? Just both got on right now. That's what they do. Blue suit, gray suit. They don't understand fit. They don't understand how. Now, I would compliment you both on adding little accessories, the color. I peeped them. So
look, we got a nod. Y'all remember that now.
Right. So that how to accessorize is key to create a more customized look. But I always like a pop of color, which you both done a little bit too today. But yeah, guys, so if you go most guys' closet, what you have is a repetition of the same thing throughout. Very little versatility. Most guys don't understand how to incorporate color. Most guys don't understand how to incorporate seasons and seasonality in their clothes. So they tend to think that by owning a year-round suit, that I get 12 months to wear it, so it's more value. So why am I going to buy a suit that I'm going to wear during the winter? Or why am I going to buy a suit just for the summer? Well, they add an element of style to your wardrobe that can't be replaced with seasonality. If you take a guy that has a winter suit on in January, and he's next to a guy with a suit that he's wearing all year round, the guy that looks in season is going to look better.
Right.
Same thing with a guy wearing a summer suit.
Right.
Because it just enhances the look and the comfort. Being able to have a suit on that's warm in the winter means something. Just like wearing a comfortable light suit in the summer means something. You will feel better dressing in season and adding seasonal accessories such as scarves and coordinating these types of things with your looks. So I would tell you, yes, most guys miss out on the variety of options in dressing well, trying to thinking they're getting a bigger bang out of the buck by wearing this type repeatedly. Okay, blue suit, I can wear it every day. Yeah, but guess what? If you can take this suit and add, or this pant and add on a nice navy cashmere sport coat in the winter, it's going to look great.
Right.
I can put on a white seersucker jacket within the summer, and it's going to look different. So you adding elements. So I always teach you guys how to add 3 to 4 looks with each piece. So versus a garment that is the same, you want something with some variety that can add 3 to 4 different looks to your wardrobe versus something that's just is a duplication of what you already did.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
When you talk about fashion, of course it's an ensemble or complete look. What about the shoes? Like me, I'm big on my shoes now. I want to spend, good money, good dollar for things here and there. But my shoes have got to be, I'm going to pay a little extra for those.
Right.
Because when you talk comfort, my shoes have to be comfortable. So what do you tell men that come in terms of that? Or do they give you any, questions? Because I know you do a lot of the suits, but...
I would tell you that shoes are a very important element to a look. But just like most other accessories, shoes are an accessory. Shoes can add, set the tone for a look. For instance, okay, you can wear an outfit and take it from a casual look to a dressed up look with the shoe. Okay? The shoe can dictate the place. A lot of guys today are wearing sneaker looks with their suits, right?
True.
And that looks cool for maybe for a casual lunch or something like that. Change that shoe up, now you're ready for a business meeting. So the shoes play a good part in what the overall look comes together like and how people perceive it. I think that I like personally to coordinate my shoes even down to matching buttons on my suit. So I wear, a lot of times when I design suits and clothes, I design that with a particular color shoe in mind.
So you start from the shoe.
Well, it could be. I think. Well, I might start the suit, but as I think about the accessorizing the suit, I think about, you know, okay, I want this suit to be worn with a black shoe or brown shoe, so I incorporate a button that would look great with the either or.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
So I think about things like that in my designs.
So back to not being.
And I just make note. This is typical. You got a blue button on for the most part, a blue suit. You got a black button, a black grayish button on a gray suit. That's typical.
Right.
This is where I think the details matter in my designs versus others. And people don't pay attention to it, but you can see it when it's put together right. You know, I mean, when you have the cognac colored buttons with the cognac colored shoe, it just
gives it that extra pop.
Women recognize.
It's in the detail.
You brought us up when we were talking about women. How often do you get women that reach out to you saying, you know, I've got a man or a husband or a boyfriend, fiance, he has no clue. Can you help?
Every day. Every day. Pretty much. You know, because, you know, it's not everybody, you know, you have to respect the gift and the talent of design, and even in terms of styling. Okay, that's a gift and a talent. And sometimes because, you know, something more natural, people don't always respect it. But everybody doesn't have, I've had guys think they could dress and think they knew, but clearly did not. But because you think you know, it's hard for someone to tell you otherwise, right? But and you don't recognize what people see, because you only recognize what you know.
Right.
But people who know see things that people who don't.
It's like dealing with a child. They think they know everything, but they haven't had those experiences.
Exactly.
So that's all you know up to your point.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm older than you. I know a little bit more.
Right. But in the world of fine men's clothing, there are details that men know about who wear it.
Right.
That look for it, and well, you don't necessarily have to look for it. You generally know it when you see it, but you also recognize the absence of it.
Right.
Okay. In certain details that people who are custom clothing wearers, they're trained to naturally to see things as a consumer. That, you know, so if your boss wears tailored suits, you know, he'll know what yours is or not because he wears them. You know, I can tell your suit's not this or it's not a good quality. Whereas you think your suit is like mine, right? Because you don't know the differences.
Right.
But I see and know the differences.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this, and this is more so on the business side of it, as far as structuring your company, and you of course you have multiple stores in different states. You have inventory. I mean, what was that like? I mean, was it like an uphill battle? Did you have to go in hardcore at once, or was it a casual build up to it where you had X amount? Like you said, you have your the store in Miami.
Showroom.
You said that's
showroom in Miami.
Yeah.
I think that there is a process, and it is one in which if you jump too fast, too soon, too big, you fall. It's kind of like leaping, okay, from one building to the next with a 100-foot drop between. Okay, you can take a huge leap and hope you make it. Okay, and a lot of us have done that and realize, oh, halfway in the air, you realize, you know what, I ain't got enough jump to make it.
Too much.
Did you experience that, getting halfway in?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hit the rock bottom. Hit the ground on my head.
How much of a lesson did you learn something for that, or is it just like, oh, I knew?
I would tell you.
What was it?
I would tell you that it's one of the greatest lessons.
Okay.
Failure is one of the greatest lessons you can have in life. Period. I think that we operate in an environment of fear of failure, and we don't applaud a failure. Applaud failure. But I think when I meet a guy that's has tells me about his failures, that's a guy I really want to be with more, because I can learn so much more from a guy like that, even more so than a guy who's all he's had is success.
Right.
Okay, because sometimes his failure just ain't happened yet.
So it's more about the correction from the failure.
The overcoming failure says so much more about a person than how you responded to success. How you respond to failure speaks more to your character, speaks more to, you know, the type of person you are, than a person who, you know, hasn't experienced those things. I mean, if you haven't, God bless you. Still, you're fortunate.
Is the business, is it political at some points where you have to say, oh, I have to play politics to a certain degree, or is it just you, this is what I'm going to do, and that's it?
Well, a couple things. I would tell you that I operate in an environment where I have to deal and work with many other people at various levels. Okay, so I have landlords, you know, and I'm in prestigious places. They're used to dealing with luxury brands or high-end companies with a lot of money. Negotiations are big, and sometimes you got to know how to approach things. And it's not, you know, you got to know when to let people know, oh, you know what, I'm here. And sometimes you got to let them know, man, look, I'm here. Help brother out, you know. Yeah.
So you have to, I mean, really, you have to come at them like that? Yeah.
Well, I think, I'm being facetious to a degree, but I think though sometimes being humble can go a long way. And sometimes you have to be somewhat arrogant, because people don't respect you being a certain way. So I think understand who you're talking to and the strategy you need to take with them is key in business. And it could be the same thing with customers, because some customers, you know, some guys, you know, they only want to deal with the best. They only want to deal with the best. So, you know, man, I'm not going to, they don't care about the deal. Okay, they care about, I need to be wearing something that people respect, and when I show the name, it means something. Okay, so okay, then you want to pull your Rolodex out and show them. Okay, well, I'm the guy for you to do that because this is my resume.
Right.
You know, there's other guys who, you know, just I give you examples. Some clients, you know, I've had people feel like, well, you know, you Miguel Wilson, so you deal with all the celebrities, so I know you don't deal with people like me, whatever. Then that's the time when it's time to be humble and say, listen, you're the reason why I'm here. I couldn't survive on celebrities. They don't spend enough money with me or enough time with me. My business is built around an everyday guy to go to work and works hard for his money, and I got to work and earn your business.
Because it's his day too, right?
Because it's his day too, exactly. That's my slogan. Right. Exactly. But you know, you see the difference. So sometimes you have to, because you want people to feel comfortable doing business with you, and make them feel great, make them feel like they're a celebrity. I think perception sometimes, and this is bothers me more than anything, is that, you know, if there's a problem, let's just say there's a problem that, and you can have a problem shopping with anybody anywhere in the world, right? But if you're shopping with me, and let's just say there's an issue of any sort, well, you know, Miguel, I know I'm not a celebrity, so, you know, this is why the problem occurred, because I'm not a celebrity, and you deal with me differently than you would them. Painful. That's a painful thing to hear, and it's so untrue. So I have to work extra hard to make people feel like, you know, so you have to do double for them a lot of times to overcome the fact that they think that you don't honor their business.
Right.
Because they're not the celebrity.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I end up doing more for you than I would for a celebrity. Okay?
Exactly. Right.
So I'm making a point to go extra hard, you know, for everyday average people who work hard for their money, because I don't want to hear that ever.
Right.
I don't want you to feel like that's what's happening. It pains me to fall short of expectations. That's the only reason why anybody will ever complain to you, is because there was an expectation that was not met. So that's very key for me.
Let me ask you this. In the world of social media, in today's world, it didn't always, this is just something that's totally new. It's just all over the place now. How, has that helped you to a degree? Have you noticed any type of ups?
I wouldn't be Miguel Wilson without the brand Miguel Wilson without social media.
Right.
Okay. The cost of advertising a business prior to social media priced most people out of business.
Right.
You could not build a company with a presence that is across a city, across a state, across a country, okay, without spending a lot of money to be on TV, on radio, and print ads. And today, with a click of a button, I can post something that 45,000 people see.
46,000.
I mean, 46?
Yeah.
When that happened?
I don't know. Last time I looked at it, you were at 46
Oh, wow.
something.
Thank you.
Almost at 47.
Wow.
Keep on going.
Amazing.
You're doing
click of a button,
right.
you got an audience of 46,000 people
Right. Instantly,
that
just like that.
see.
It's probably more
What
than
could
that.
you have done to compare to that 10 years ago,
Right.
20 years ago?
Spend a lot more
Right.
money.
Spent a whole lot
A
more
whole
money.
lot of money.
Right.
A whole lot of money.
So social media is a great opportunity for small businesses to grow their companies and their brands and to compete with larger brands to appear to be on the level. You can be working out your house
Right.
and nobody knows because
Yeah.
your social media marketing and everything could be so great.
Right.
So if you become great at marketing,
Right.
you can have a business that's not even that great and do well.
Right. Absolutely.
And that is so true
Absolutely.
out there now, because
Right.
there are a lot of products that people are buying based upon social media.
What
When
they
they
saw,
get it, it's
a video,
disappointing.
10-second video. They're like,
They're
I want
disappointed.
that.
But
It's like
the
that.
video was great.
Mhm.
The merchandise is
Or the service.
Right.
Or the service.
Right.
Or the service.
You said something, and I think we saw, well, I saw a video, I think you saw the same video, when you talk about making sure the groom realizes it's his day too.
Right.
Over the years, I've been married once, but over the years, I've been to weddings, and of course, it's always about the woman, which is great.
Mhm.
It's her day. But then the guys just kind of sit back, and it's just like, you don't have that experience.
Right.
And I think when I heard that from you, I was like, that's the great take. That's the take. If you had a tagline, the slogan, that's the one. Because most guys like, yeah, I'll show up. What am I supposed to wear?
Right.
But it's the experience that most guys miss out on.
Right. And by the way, that tagline is a registered trademark today because this day too is owned by Miguel Wilson Collection.
Hey.
Yes, and so I recognize the gift in that too. So this is a business lesson here. Okay. In the process of me restarting my business, I had to identify where I wanted to go and how I was going to get there. And the one thing I wanted to do was build a fashion brand that people knew and recognized, okay, all across the country. So I looked at how did, I want to be like a Ralph Lauren or Tom Ford. How do these guys do it? And one thing I found consistent between most luxury brands is that they were all known for something first. A product was something that they did great. And then they took that to build their other products around. To the where when you have a brand, that means I can put my name on anything, this chair, and it's now more valuable, right? That's the value of a brand. So, Gucci, leather goods, Hermes, saddles and leather goods, boots, shoes, Ralph Lauren polo shirts. So something has to resonate with people to the point that they know you for that. So I had to look at where was there opportunities in the market in which I could become that guy. And the one thing I recognized from doing weddings for so many years is that there's a disparity between how men and women are treated and what the options were for men. But it also was odd to me that women would spend thousands of dollars on a gown that they're going to wear one day, and a man who could buy a nice tuxedo or a nice suit and wear it for a lifetime would choose to rent a suit or a tux. Why would you choose to look to wear used clothing on what you would call one of the biggest days of your life, and she's wearing this? You all are together. This is about the pictures, So shouldn't you be dressed equivalent? And I think too, there was a shift from expectations, where fathers and mothers pay for weddings, to where a lot of times now these grooms, these hardworking guys out here, are the ones footing the bill. So why should you foot the bill for feeding everyone, drinks for everybody, the biggest party you possibly will ever throw in your life, and show up looking less than prepared and adequate?
Correct.
Right. So, because it's his day too, speaks to those guys saying, hey, it is your wedding. Hey, this is your big day too. Hey, you do matter. And quite frankly, it's resonated more with women than the men. And why do I say that? Because 80% of the guys that come to me have been sent to me by the bride. The guy that came here from Dothan, Alabama today, his wife told him, go see this guy in Atlanta. And they saw my clothes in the wedding.
You know what? She must be a real woman.
Yes.
Because real women
Right.
prefer gentlemen of style.
Right. Well, and most women are the ones that send.
That's the name of it.
Oh, no, they can't.
we got another show.
That's
one I
features the
saw.
ladies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these women send the guys to me, and because they want their fiance to be excited about that day. They want them to share in the experience that they have. So that's why we create an environment where they can bring their friends, and I don't want your wedding to be about that day and everything leading up to that day is painful. I want it to be an experience that throughout the whole process was fun.
Right.
Shopping for your tuxedo, picking out your caterer and going tastings, and all these things should be a part of the enjoyment of the day, with the day being the culmination of all the planning and all the little parties you had leading up to it. So this is what I try to offer my guys. That's why we do the pictures when they come in. We're capturing the moment.
Right.
I got wine. You guys gonna have some wine. We're gonna toast. We're gonna celebrate every aspect of this process.
Because it's his day too.
Because it's his day too. That's why I have a shirt. Each guy gets one of my T-shirts. On the back of it says because it's his day too, and we take a picture with them in their shirt and stuff. And so many guys. You guys see me pictures the other day at the wedding. He had on his shirt. He had his tuxedo hanging up. Yeah. And his back was to the camera, so it said because it's his day too, and he was looking up at the camera at his tuxedo.
Yeah.
Bam. That's it. Right
That's
there. This is what it's all about.
That's great.
He's excited. He's in the room, and when he pulls that bag out, that Miguel Wilson garment bag out, and all his best friends and his brothers and cousins and everybody in that room with him, and they saying, "Man,
Yeah.
you excited about putting that thing on?" You know what I mean? One of the greatest joys for a woman. And when they're little and they're thinking about their wedding day, 90% of it is around putting that dress on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we taking that energy
They fantasize about it.
and giving it to a man.
Right.
That's what we've done.
Absolutely.
Right.
One of the things about you that I've noticed, just seeing some of your social media stuff, you're one of those people. You're outside the box. It's never going to be a cookie cutter or anything with you. You've got an event coming up, polo match.
Mm-hmm.
Never been to a polo match. Hadn't really thought about it. I've seen them here and there. How'd you get interested into that world?
And then once you answer that question, give us a breakdown of the event and how it's going to.
Great. So, as a kid, I went to a camp, fell in love with horses.
Okay.
First time I saw a horse, it was magical, and I was
Not like a unicorn or anything.
No, but it was just, not a unicorn, but it's just like, it was a certain emotion that I felt being around horses that I never felt before. So I grew up in the city, Washington D.C.
Yeah.
No horses around there.
Right.
But I talked about horses all the time, to the point that my great grandmother actually paid for me to take some riding lessons.
Oh, good.
And the environment I grew up in, there's like a lot of inner city kids. There's a lot of stress. You grow up around people who, might want to pick fights with you, and or rob you, or you always got to have your guard up because some danger lurks around the next corner everywhere. So you never get to have peace. You stay in a constant state of stress. And people don't understand that. If you never grew up in these type of environments, inner city kids struggle. I don't know if they did research on this, but the stress they have is amazing that you ever overcome that.
Yeah, it's almost like having PTSD or something
right.
like that.
Because you see stuff too that you shouldn't see as a kid. Right. So going out to that barn on Saturdays was magical. Going from the concrete jungle to seeing the trees, the fences, the grass, the animals. The stress would just literally leave my body as I'm driving out. Okay, I grew up in Washington, D.C., which is called Chocolate City. Yeah. I didn't know any other race of people other than black people growing up. As you can imagine, I don't know where you grew up, but...
Oh, we know about D.C.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I don't know where you grew up, but where I grew up, I didn't go to school with any kids of any other culture. No white kids, no Chinese kids, no nothing else. It was all black. Every friend, every relationship, every family, other than my father's side, which is Dominican, but all black.
Right.
So, going out to that barn exposed me to people that I wasn't familiar with spending time with. It exposed me to something very different. Exposed me to a different opportunity, so forth too. So, then when I went back, it was stressful again. But the thing was, I had something to look forward to next weekend. So no matter where I was in that process, I knew I had something to look forward to. I just think we all need something to look forward to in life. You can't be in an environment where you just every day is like, okay, nothing great you can expect. But the way I visited the barn during the week was through the library, reading books about horses every day. I read every book, and I became a prolific reader because of horses. So it changed my life because it prepared me for college without me even knowing. Okay? So that experience is something I feel that a lot of kids would benefit from. So I started a foundation called Ride to the Olympics. It's called Ride to the Olympics because there's never been an African American to ride in the Olympics for the United States equestrian team. One day I was practicing polo. I've been playing for a long time. I never, I grew up around horses, so I never talk about it really. So people, this is my passion. Yeah. So I just do it. And I was practicing this guy, and I went to his new barn, and he was like, "Were you playing?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "I never seen a black guy out here, ever." And it hit me as to my calling to expose people who otherwise would never be exposed to this game and to the sports, that this is something I can do because I have access, I understand it, I've been doing it for a long time. So I married my two passions, polo and fashion, together and put on a party. It just is a natural progression, if you will. I've been doing fashion shows for a long time.
Right.
I've done parties for a long time.
Right.
Events. But this was, I thought, something in which could benefit my foundation, expose larger groups of people to just some things they've never seen before, and do it in a way that only I can do it. Okay? Because typically, polo matches and events such as this are not so culturally inclusive. Not that you're not invited.
Right.
It's just that
they don't show up.
It doesn't include our music,
I see.
our food,
Absolutely.
our experience.
I see.
The experience. So everyone's invited, but it's from that's why the tagline is, it's Fashion and Polo Classic, where culture and class connect.
Okay.
Right. So this is a luxury event. Okay. We have Bentley as a sponsor. We have many luxury brands associated with the event, and helicopters for people to fly in who want to fly in. We have shuttle service with the Bentleys for our VIPs. When you park, you literally get driven up to the venue in a Bentley, but it's classy, it's elegant, like top-notch chefs, live music, DJs. I have a young lady who plays violin, and so it's something different than even the way others would do it. So it's the Miguel Wilson rendition of a polo event.
Great. That sounds absolutely fantastic, and as far as I know, we'll be in the place.
Yeah, we're planning on coming.
Well, I would suggest you do that. Yeah, it's the best party you will ever attend.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the experience because, to your point, I've always, you know about polo. We're not.
You've seen it.
You've seen it,
right?
But you never really think about, that's somewhere that I would like to go, or something that I would like to do. And it seems like it was a closed door, that a certain type of people only did that.
You're making a very good point. And so this was another thought, was to be able to present in such a way that is inclusive, that doesn't make you feel like do I really belong there? I want to feel dumb. You know what I mean? Or you can't ask a wrong question. It's a great environment to have fun. And I've actually, I'm doing a giveaway of polo lessons, free, okay, to some of the participants. I'm going to give away tomorrow. I'm going to announce a winner for, you can take some polo lessons. Exposure is everything. Being able to see something changes you on some level.
Yes.
Being exposed to things changes you and opens the door for you to have opportunities to do stuff that you otherwise never would have considered, right? So this is what it does for the kids. Because a lot of kids I do a lot of workshops with kids on entrepreneurship and things, and I always ask them, what do you want to be? And our young men most times say basketball player, football player. Well, polo player is an option, and that's the option I'm going to give them. Being a veterinarian, that's an option that I want to show them. You can make millions of dollars doing something, traveling the world, having fun, and who knows?
It's interesting that you said that. My daughter, she's 17.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm my oldest daughter, and a few years back, I don't even remember how it came to being, but she got interested in archery. Okay, you're interested in archery. Well, let me look into it. Let me find out, is there somewhere I can take you to do that? And upon that investigation of looking into it to find somewhere where she could learn how to shoot an arrow, how to shoot a compound bow, and all these different things, looking a little deeper at it, there's so many scholarships in archery. Would have never known that. Would never have guessed that.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
These worlds out there, there's so much that we just don't know about, because we don't think it's inclusive, or maybe it's not inclusive to a degree, but until that door is open up, we'll never see it.
Yeah, well, I'll go even further.
Go ahead.
We all have a gift. We all have a passion. However, you will never realize that gift or be able to experience that passion if you don't step outside of the norms of your surroundings and the people that you deal with.
That's why travel is so important.
That's why travel is very important.
Yes.
That's why just being curious is very important. That's why coming to my event, just the curiosity can create another passion.
Right.
And it may not even be the polo, it may be in fashion, it could be in something else.
Right.
I just think we have to have a curiosity, and we have to have the desire to pursue and see. Period.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely.
So we don't take up too much of your time. He's on the clock here, on his own clock. But you got anything else coming up? Anything new coming up, coming out? Something that we can look forward to? Let the people know something.
Well, right now the Fashion Polo Classic has a lot of my attention. This is a very big event for me, and it also just helps the brand, Miguel Wilson brand. People associate Miguel Wilson with luxury, and that's so important, because when we think about luxury, we generally do not think about a black brand.
That is true.
And I often ask people, name a black brand, and most people are very dumbfounded when presented with that question. Well, I want to change that to when asked that question, you say Miguel Wilson Collection, luxury brand. So my focus is on having this event be phenomenal, and I am going to put on the best fashion show that people have seen for menswear at my event. I'm going to put clothes together that you will excite you.
I'm excited already.
I know,
I'm
right?
ready.
I know, right?
So, I'm excited. I literally was down designing clothes last night, and I'm gonna do some more today because I'm excited about being able to show the world what Miguel Wilson can do.